Hi, everybody. It's episode 465? 66? I don't remember. I thought I wrote 65 earlier, but the document says 66. I'm very confused now. Let me look. I don't know what episode we're on, everybody. 65.
It's fine.
This is 65. I fucked up.
It's not 469, so no one cares.
That's fair.
True.
It's episode 465, everybody. Figured it out. It's Wednesday, July 12th, 2023. I am Chris. With me is Drootin.
Hello.
And Walnut.
Yeah, I'm here.
How you guys doing? Enjoying the 90-degree weather?
Absolutely not.
I mean, I took Chase out for a walk at lunchtime. It wasn't too bad.
And
I don't think it had quite reached 90 at that time.
Man, yesterday after evening when it was 92, walking up the steps at the man was a bad fucking time.
Should have just done the VIP parking and parked up at the entrance that's literally right there.
I didn't know there was other parking up there, actually.
Yeah, there's parking up there.
Oh, I never knew that.
I'm pretty sure you have to pay for it.
I also didn't know there was an entrance that you could actually go in up there. I thut you had to go in down at the main gate.
Or just...
Did I not? I guess maybe I only told Erica at that the used show.
Yeah, probably.
There's a gate fucking right there.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever noticed anyone going in and out of it.
Or, just don't go to summer concerts.
But I wanted to
that are outside.
I wanted to see Story of the Year, though.
I mean, you could have waited for them to be inside.
I mean, who knows when that is. Also, I got to see Yellow Card. That was fun.
I got to see them a few years ago and was made fun of for seeing them a few years ago.
Yeah. They are not one of my favorites. But I do really like Story of the Year. And they were opening. So I'm like, I will go see Story of the Year. And Erica was actually excited to see Yellow Card.
I got to see them for their first farewell tour.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're remaking music or if they're just retouring.
No, they have a new album coming.
Okay.
They're the latter half of their set list. They actually said that it's all it's stuff off their upcoming EP or whatever. And one of the songs, I guess they literally just released. It's their first time playing it live on this tour, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it was catchy. I only really know songs off of their first CD. Or off of Ocean Avenue, which I think is their first CD.
I believe so.
So,
if it's not their first CD, it's their first major hit CD.
Yeah, exactly. But it was fun, because it was, it was Page Avenue versus Ocean Avenue.
Nice.
Yeah. I was surprised, because I thought, because so many other bands are doing, the 20th or whatever tours for albums this year, and they're just playing the full albums. They did not, I guess because it's been, 9 years or whatever since they went on tour. What was it, 2014 or 15?
I think it's 2016.
Okay, so not quite that long.
Yeah.
But they played a bunch of songs off of Ocean Avenue, but not all of them. I want to say maybe they had a 20-song set list and maybe less than half were Ocean Avenue songs.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good time. Mayday Parade played in the middle. They're fine. They played the 3 songs I know. So...
Yeah, I saw them in 2016, so it's been 7 years since they toured.
Yeah, which, I mean, good for them for getting back together.
Yeah, I know, well, did they call it quits because one of them had cancer?
That I don't know.
Or that might have happened while they were initially, I can't remember. I think they stopped because somebody got cancer. The fiddler got cancer.
Oh, I know they have a different drummer because they mentioned that the drummer with them tonight is a drummer that played with them on that farewell tour, and was not their previous drummer.
Yeah, they've had, I think if you go to Wiki, they've had some trouble keeping drummers. But a lot of bands tend to have trouble keeping drummers for some reason.
Yeah. I will say, Drew, have you ever seen Story of the Year?
Yes, they played at Ohio is for Lovers last year. They
are a fun band live.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
They sound good, but they just seem to be having a good time too. At one point they were talking and the singer's just yeah, we are the 3rd best band in the world. And then he's like, we're right behind Taylor Swift and the Spice Girls. And he was actually wearing a Taylor Swift shirt, and the crowd actually wooed when he said the Spice Girls, and he kind of stopped and looked, and he's like, I've never gotten a woo for the Spice Girls. So
that's
fun.
Who
woo the Spice Girls, man?
I mean, other cities, dude. Apparently, Philly is actually a pretty good concert area. I have a friend who's down in the Atlanta area, and apparently their concerts down there are fucking horrible. no one moves, like no one's really like excited, like everyone just kind of stands there and like bobs their head a little bit.
Did I ever tell you guys about what was the concert I went to with my cousin? Do I have that set list saved for that band? Hold on, let me see if I have the set list.
What band was it?
I can remember it. I'm trying to find the set list to remember the band. It was a band that he liked, that he was looking for friends to go see it with. And so I was like, you know what? Sure, why not? This was back when I was obviously pre-pandemic. I don't think I have I don't think I have them saved as a set list. I don't remember the name of the band, but they were like more of like maybe a pseudo indie rock band, something like that. They were a smaller band, and this was like their first time headlining. And let me tell you, it was the most depressing thing after the band ended, because everyone's just standing there in pitch silence waiting for an encore. Literally waiting for the encore. They're not cheering, they're not clapping, they're not yelling. None. It's just, alright, thank you, Philly, and everyone cheers, and they leave the stage, and then silence. But everyone's still standing there staring.
Because the lights were off,
just,
so everyone knew they were coming back out for...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked at my cousin, I'm like, no offense, but if I were this band, I wouldn't come out for an encore. And he's like, no, I kind of agree.
Yeah, that's a bummer. That's not a good time.
So, like, I was like, and it wasn't like a 2-second, like, wait. It was like a good 5 minutes between them leaving stage and coming back. It was a decent amount of time to where, like, I literally was getting so anxious, I started, yeah, one more song, let's go, woo! Like, trying to rile up the crowd, and a few people picked it up, and then and then everyone stopped again, and it got, like, you could hear a pin drop. It was that quiet.
See this,
and I was just
that's
like,
why bands
oof.
need to just stop doing the fake finish. Just play straight through. Nobody wants to wait around in the dark for an extra 2 minutes.
No.
The only good thing about that little bit is like it's a good sign of like if you're in the crowd and you don't feel like you need to be there, it's a good time to like walk towards the exit so that you know you can get out in an orderly fashion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go to the merch stand, get your merch if you want to get it, and head out.
But yeah, that's a bummer. I was gonna make a comment and now I forget what it is. It had to do with live music. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Was it that there is a growing trend of bands not doing fucking encores?
I mean, there is that.
Realizing it's dumb.
It is refreshing. 'Cause yeah, like I get like sometimes you need a breather, but like just hang out on stage, like have a little banter.
Mm.
Like, I like the idea of an encore, but make it an actual fucking encore and not just we're just gonna step off and we're definitely gonna come back. Like, I might be the only one who thinks this. Make the crowd deserve the encore. Like, if the crowd isn't cheering for you for the time that you're off stage, then leave. Like, it's done. You don't need to go back out.
Yeah. No, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, if people expect you to come out and just sit there and wait for you to come out and aren't cheering for you to come out, then don't do the encore, because the point of the encore was because people were cheering for one more song. Like, if no one's cheering for one more song, then don't do one more song. The set's over. You finished your set list.
They clearly don't want to see you anymore. The crowd does not care.
But even if they do want to see you, they should show that they want to see you. Like,
yeah.
They should be cheering. It's that simple.
Yeah, but it's also just become this like, oh, well, you're expected to do it.
Yeah.
So people just do it whether or not they actually want more. I mean, realistically, you're there for the headliner. You probably want to see more, but there are probably times where the headliner sucked shit, and yeah, no, you're ready to just fucking leave.
Dude, there are plenty of times I've gone to concerts for not the headliner.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
I left. I mean, this was years and years ago. I think I was in college still. I left Taste of Chaos before Kill Switch. I regret it, but I did have an entire fucking crowd fall on my ankles. So that's part of the reason why. But it was just like Dragon Force killed the set. Like, they killed it. And it was just like, you can't follow that up. It was fantastic. And I was barely standing as it was before the crowd fell on. And then the crowd fell on me. And I was just like, guys, I don't know if I can stand here for another band. And they're like, we get it. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. And like you kind of know like the headliner if they're going to if like they're going to have an encore or not, because like if they don't play their most popular song, they're coming back out. Like to simple as that. Like
yeah,
because Drew last year at the Less Than Jake why am I Bowling for Soup?
You Found Glory. Oh, Bowling for that one.
What's his face from Bowling for Soup literally said like, hey, you know how you know when the set's over? When we play our best known song. And then they played 1985.
That's why Coheed needs to start coming out to Welcome Home and then get into the rest of their set. This way it's like now you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, like I like the bands that they at least they pepper in, like they'll come out to like a well-known song and then like, or like even if it's not like a well-known one, like they'll open up with something that's like at least known. And then they'll pepper some of the other, like, really well-known stuff throughout the set list. So, like, you know that, like, there's going to be a lot of people screaming along, like, multiple times throughout. Like, that's definitely how the Yellow Card and Story of the Year sets were. Like, the Mayday Parade one was, like, I feel like when they play live, they seemed, at least a couple times I've seen them, they seem to lean more on their, like, more, like, low-energy songs, for lack of a better word. Like, they finish with, like, slightly like more not upbeat like in the lyrics, but like upbeat like beat wise. But like a lot of the middle is like kind of like slow sad songs. It's a little weird, little weird to see between like two bands that are kind of high energy.
Yeah.
But anyway, Rich, what's on the agenda?
Yes. Oh, right. We have to do that still. Yeah, not a lot.
Yeah, because you didn't do anything.
Drew played.
Jesus.
Neither did you. Did less than I did.
Did I?
I mean, we probably did about the same. Except, I mean, technically I did more because I played more Final Fantasy than you did. But, Drew played some of, Chivalry 2. I watched most of the season of Black Mirror. I didn't get around to watching the last episode. Cobb, you watched a couple of movies. And if we want to talk about it, the Activision Blizzard deal is actually going to be allowed to go through, I think. But that's this week.
Yeah. It's that the FTC did approve that.
Yeah, FTC approved the Activision, or they
didn't block it, right?
No,
yeah, they're not blocking.
No. The courts said that the FTC's temporary injunction stopping it is not allowed.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had not really read or anything on that. I had just seen like a couple like headlines, and one thing that said with whatever ruling happened, like the merger could happen as soon as next month, but not like it is going to happen next month. I guess like if all the stars align, it could happen that quickly.
I think there was like contractual language that it needs to happen by the 18th of this month.
Really?
Or Microsoft has to pay $2 billion to Activision.
Well, that's like what they find in their cushions, right? So like that's not a big deal.
Fair.
But also, like, I'm sure there's contractual language to where if the fucking government is stopping them from doing this, then they didn't have to pay it. I'm sure there's gotta be something somewhere in there be like, alright, well, the government stopped us for 4 months, so we now have X amount of time to finish. I'm sure, like, I don't know. I don't know their legal contracts.
Who knows, right?
Yeah.
But, Drew, how's Chivalry 2?
It's pretty silly. It's pretty cool.
Is that like the weird, like, kind of ragdolly night game?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, literally, one of the button, if you double tap square, it was a PS Plus game last month, so I was playing it for a little bit because I didn't feel like playing anything else yesterday. As you're going through the training, it tells you that double tap square is a war cry, and it like encourages you to be using your war cry like whenever you can. And I don't know if it was just a thing because it was my first day playing the game, or if it's just a random thing in there. But a few times when I did war cries, my guy would just yell, "It's my first day!" And
that's great.
It's a class-based, melee-focused, although there are also archers, but heavily melee-focused medieval combat game.
I feel like I've seen I've seen like clips of that, and it looks goofy.
Yeah, it's pretty silly. It's hard. One thing I kept forgetting is a thing they hammer in. It's like the first thing they teach you in the training is that when you swing your sword, like the attacks are on the shoulder button. There's like a swipe attack, an overhead, and a stab that you can do with every weapon. You are supposed to like also turn your body so that you're hitting earlier in the screen, essentially. You know, so like instead of having to wait for your swing to get all the way in front of you to hit the target, you're swinging your whole body to swing the sword or the axe or whatever you have. So you kind of want to kind of time your swing and your turn so you're hitting your enemy on the very edge of the screen.
Okay.
Which it's so like not what I'm thinking about when I'm playing a first person game.
I mean, understandably, that seems very like... Oh, wait, it's first person?
Yes.
I did not realize that. For some reason, I thought it was third person.
You can move it out to third person, but I feel like that would be incredibly hard.
Okay, yeah, it's like based on like the way that you were just describing the combat, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense.
Because it is not like action game combat. It is hit a button, your character will swing a sword with very weighty feel to the attacks, especially if you hold and do a heavy attack. Like, it takes a while for them to wind up and swing. So it's all about learning the timing on the weapons and, like I said, remembering to like move your focus with your swing, which is real counterintuitive to me. So it took a while for me to get in habit of doing that. And when I would remember to do it, I would be way more effective in the fights. But when there's like, I want to say it's like 64 player games, so you'll have like 30 people on each side running at each other, and then it just becomes chaos, and you're just hammering on buttons, swinging. I totally forget to turn 90% of the time.
Huh. Yeah, for some reason, like, if assuming this is the game that I think I'm thinking of, I thought it was like just goofy. Like, I didn't think it was actually like challenging.
Oh no, well, I mean it's all multiplayer. It's PvP.
Oh, maybe this isn't the game I'm thinking of then.
Maybe it's not. Are you thinking of like totally accurate battle simulator?
Yes, that is what I'm thinking of.
Where the characters are just colors?
That Totally Accurate Battle Simulator is such a different game from Chivalry 2. Like,
but there is a lot of very same DNA in this. Like, Chivalry is way more realistic in how it looks. They're equally silly in like the overall feel of the game. Like the training was super silly feeling. Like the narrator that's like walking you through stuff, it had a silly feel to it. And also like you can cut limbs off. I noticed people running around with no arms, and I'm like, how are you still alive? You have no arms.
Nice. I think I might in my head have been like putting both of those together.
Maybe.
But I don't think I realized that Chivalry was multiplayer either. I thought it was more just like battle arena sort of thing. Like it was just you versus like a Dynasty Warriors, like you versus hordes of enemies sort of deal.
No. It's 100% an online multiplayer game.
Was it easy to get like into games and stuff then?
Yeah, I was finding it seemed to keep you kind of in a lobby for a while if you wanted. Like if you didn't back out, it would just like, okay, that match ended, starting up a new game.
Oh, nice.
Let's go. Like it took 30 seconds to get into a game the first time, and for a minute I was like, oh, did a bunch of people download this and then stop playing it immediately? But then as soon as I connected, it was just running like full game.
How long did like a match take?
They take a little while.
Do you know how many players are in a match?
It was 64.
Oh, okay, so it's almost like
32.
So it's almost like a battle royale.
Kinda, except you're on two teams of 30.
Okay.
So yeah, lots of players, lots of just screaming. You're just hearing yelling and swords and shields clashing, and like I said, occasionally just randomly seeing a dude with their arms chopped off. Like, oh, it's pretty decent. I'll probably play some more.
Now, do you know if you could chop off an arm and then run around with it as your weapon?
I don't know. Maybe. You can definitely pick up weapons that from anyone you've killed or that have just randomly been thrown, because you can throw basically every weapon. But I was rarely looking down to try to find an arm to pick up, because there are almost always people around trying to kill you.
That sounds accurate. With that many players, like...
Yeah. And, like, the respawns are pretty quick. Like, it's on a timer. So sometimes you might wait, like, 10 seconds to respawn. Sometimes you died, like, right as the timer was about to reset, and you immediately respawn. And when you respawn, you are running. Like, it's not like you just spawn in a spot and have to start moving. It is automatically running you towards the combat.
So so if you respawn, what's the victory conditions then?
It's usually like, I'm pretty sure all the ones I were playing, there's an attacking team and a defending team, and the attacking team is trying to capture points along the way, and that'll push the respawn back. And it's like 4 or 5 different capture points. One I was playing on, we were the defenders. Eventually we got pushed far back enough that the faction's king was like, okay, well, I'm going to join the battlefield and assist you. And you had to protect the king, also out there killing people with you. So the final victory thing for the other team was kill the king.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like the domination style points, like in Call of Duty, where it's like they got to get to a spot and hold the spot for a little bit. It was fun.
Yeah, for some reason, when you were initially saying like team based and all, I just assumed it was like when you're dead, and it's the first team to finish basically.
Oh yeah, no. You die a lot, and it tells you how many people died at the end, or like how many deaths each team had at the end, and it's 100. Like it would easily be like, the losing team died like 450 times. The winning team had like 350.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because you die fast. I mean, like a couple good unblocked hits and you're down.
Okay, and you said that it was PS Plus?
Yeah.
Huh. Rich, you should play that on stream. Change it up a little bit.
I've got too much to play right now, man. I've got too much to play and coming out, and I'm honestly overwhelmed with games right now. It's just too much. I can't take a break from things right now.
Sure you can. You just stop playing them and go play other things.
I mean, yeah, I can, but friggin' Remnant 2 comes out next week. It comes out on Thursday? No. Maybe Thursday? What day is it?
I thought that one came out at the end of the month.
It comes out on the 20... There's early release for pre-order shit, and then there's like the regular release. And it's sometime next week that it comes out for early. And then pre-order is like the following week, that following Tuesday or something. So I think it might be like the 20th and then the 25th. Pikmin comes out the 27th. I'm obviously not getting Pikmin right now because Remnant, which means I want to try to beat Final Fantasy before Remnant comes out. But also Remnant's not going to be an everyday game, because of the style of game it's going to be. It's going to be, like a game that I'm going to return to and whatnot. But I am going to want to do the story. And then there's just still all the fucking games that I've been wanting to play that I haven't played, that I haven't gotten. So, like, I just don't have time for games. I don't have time for all the games right now, man. All the games I've been playing are so fucking long anymore.
That's why I'm telling you, play this fun, like, 20-second to join, like, massively online, like, battle game.
I mean, I could, but I don't really know if I'd be I'm watching somebody play it right now. They're running around with a broom as their weapon.
Drew, did you run around with
the
broom at all?
For sure. Huh?
I asked Drew if he ran around with the broom at all.
I did not. Like, as you're leveling up, you're unlocking skins and whatnot for the weapons, so that's probably just some sort of reskin polearm thing.
Yeah, it looks silly, but I don't 100% know if it would be my thing.
I mean, that's fair. That is fair. I just like telling you to play things that, you know, are different from what you normally play.
That you won't come watch me play anyway.
No, I won't. But hey.
Honestly, though, this might not be that much different from the games I normally play. It's just I don't think this game is that much for me.
Yeah, who knows if you even remembered to redeem it last month.
Shit. That's a good question.
I was kidding, but then I realized, there's a good chance you didn't.
I just remembered to redeem this month's games just now, because as we were talking, because I had seen a thing about next month's games, and I was like, I wonder if I ever did this month's game. Purchased, And then, can I sort by purchase date? Yes. Final Fantasy, Trek Young. Nope. Nope, I do have it.
You do have it.
It wasn't last, there's no way it was last month's game. It had been like a few months ago. Because I have Alan Wake and Endling, which is this month's, Final Fantasy, which I bought 2 weeks ago, Trek to Yomi and Jurassic World Evolution 2, NBA 2K23, Grid Legends, Descended, or I don't know, it's a bike game, and then Chivalry 2 and Trails of Iron. So I don't know how long ago that was.
Oh, okay, it was May. Not
there
June.
we go. Yeah, that's why I got confused for a second. Because it wasn't right at the bottom, or right at the top.
But no, I like, it is not a game that like I think I would probably play very much of, but it actually sounds like it's cool if like that's the sort of game you want to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I played For Honor, and it gives me a little bit of For Honor vibes, just not as specific combat. Like For Honor, the combat is very specific, but I could not get into that against like in the Horde mode style or in the big battle style of For Honor. I've only played it like once or twice. I could get into that game if it was like a PvE fighter, but I can't get into it in just the siege mode, because it's just like, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't really care to take the time to learn what I'm doing.
That's sort of my issue too. Like, I don't play stuff for long enough sessions to get that good at it, and I feel like I would just end up spending most of the time dead. Like, similar with like games like Apex. Like, I'm not good at those, so when I do play it, like, I just spend most of the time dead.
Yeah, and I know that feeling also.
Says the guy who spent an entire month playing nothing but Apex.
And after about 2 weeks, I was hating everything.
Was it because you ranked up and you were just like no offense, but like outclassed by like people, or?
I was having I couldn't rank up beyond like, I got to Silver 1, but I don't think I was outclassed. I just like, I don't know, maybe I was slightly outclassed. I don't think it was that. I think I was just having very bad matches and just not enjoying myself, because like, I can't sit there and play the same game for that long and nothing else. Like, it's not killing me, but it's kind of killed me a little bit with all of the RPGs I've been playing, where they're taking 10 plus sessions to play. Like, I'm on next time I play Final Fantasy, it's session fucking 9, man. Like, it's a lot of game, and this is a game that I'm enjoying enough to where I'm going to want to, like, do all the extra shit, or at least try to platinum it. And I know, but like, once I beat the story, then that's gonna be like, alright, let me go back to it like once a week. Or on my spare time or something like that. This is not going.
So you're gonna have to AP farm is what you're saying.
as far as I know, there's no trophy for, master every ability. As far as I know, there's no, like, I looked through the trophy list. There's no trophy for master, but it might be a locked trophy.
I was gonna say, it's probably a hidden trophy. I'm looking at PSN profiles. 16, right.
Trophies. Every trophy. Main story, blah, blah, ball.
Game.
Hold on. This is great content.
It really is. There we go. Final Fantasy 16. Found it. Master all feats and abilities to their maximum.
All feats and abilities to their maximum. Okay. That's apparently not that is a hidden trophy for some reason. There's master all of a single icon's abilities and feats, and upgrade all feats and abilities to their maximum.
So now we know why you have to AP farm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
People, but anyone who's listening now is like, what the fuck are they talking about?
But look, like, mid game, it really doesn't matter. But if I want to do that, I mean, maybe I do need an AP farm. Maybe I don't. Like I said, I'm halfway through the game, or less than halfway through the game, and I haven't needed to worry about AP farming at the moment. Yeah. I don't have everything mastered, but we'll see what happens when we get to the end of the game.
It looks like you also have to spend 36,000 gil at Tub and Crown.
36. I have 100,000 gil right now, so that's fine.
Yeah. But like, if the game is like designed well, ideally you won't have to do any major farming. Like, you might have to go like spend a little time grinding just to like finish off a few things, but hopefully by the end of the game, like, you're able to mostly master everything just by playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess you'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I was saying, I'm at the point where 6 abilities, like, are unlocked. Like, I have the most abilities that can be equipped, and I have, like, 6 more that I can't even equip right now, because you can only have 6 at a time, so I'm just doing nothing with my AP at the moment. So as new shit comes up, I can just upgrade it, and learn it, but it's if you don't have it, you have to purchase it, which is usually only about 200 tops, and then to upgrade it, it's like 1,500, and then to master it, it's maybe like 3,000. But I have like 40 hours left in the game.
Jesus.
To me, yeah, it's like a 60-hour game, I think.
I thought it was only 40.
I don't know.
That's what it was up on How Long to Beat for a little while.
I thought I'd seen 60.
So completionist is 71. Main plus extras, which is kind of what you're on at the moment, is 55. But just main story only is 34.
So yeah, 60 hours.
Yeah, unless, like, if you were just a play through the story, it would be much quicker, but that's not you.
Yeah, but I do all the I at minimum do all of the available side quests and hunts and things like that. Like, I'm not normally a trophy hunter, I'm not normally, like, a platinum guy, and, like, seeing that one of them is AP farming, I don't know if I'm gonna care that much to do that. It depends on how much AP I'm gonna need after I beat the game to determine whether or not I'm going to do that.
But at least now you have that guide on how to do it.
I mean, I won't use that. I probably won't use that guide. There's potentially, probably not, but potentially better ways to get AP.
Well, Drew, anything else you want to say about Chivalry?
No.
Right. Well then, Rich, what did you think of Black Mirror season 6?
I believe it's season 6. I loved the first episode. Joan is awful.
So,
fucking amazing episode.
Do you know apparently that's not the first episode, like, if you look up, like, the actual, like, episode order on, like, Wikipedia or IMDb? Netflix is just weird with the way that they list it. The astronaut episode is technically the first one.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't really matter because they don't really connect, so...
Yeah, no, it was just very weird that, like, Netflix has it in, like, reverse order.
I mean, because that spotlights them the most, that episode, technically.
Yeah.
That spotlight, it's all about making fun of it fucking self. Like, so, Drew, have you watched Black Mirror? Do you watch Black Mirror? I don't know if you'd be interested in it or not. If you don't know anything about it, it's an anthology series. Every episode is different. It's like Tales from the Crypt, but it tends to lean more tech-based. So it's like futuristic or modern technology and how it's affected the world. There's always some sort of social commentary that goes along with a lot of these episodes. One of my favorite episodes is... I can't remember the name of it, but it's got Bryce Dallas Howard in it, and she, it's all about social media and their media score. I think it was called Nosedive. One of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was called that.
And then there's another one from the same season, I think, called Kill the DJ, which is about a dating app that or it's about a dating service that, like, you have to have a 98% match or higher, or otherwise they won't match you. And that's, like, a really cool episode. And each episode tends to have, like, some sort of, like, little twisty thing going on at the end and whatnot. It's just like how Tales of the Crypt
It's almost like a modern day Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone works as well, yeah. Twilight Zone, Tales of the Crypt, like, and anything like that, really. It's just, like, every story is in and of itself, and up to a certain point, every story was in the same connected universe, and they may still be, but, like, just throughout different timelines. And so, Joan is Awful is the first episode listed on Netflix for this season. Is an episode about a woman who learns that the algorithm is making an AI show based on her life because she agreed to allow the algorithm and the Streamberry is what they call themselves, but it's Netflix. It's fucking Netflix. Like, they have the same intro noise and everything during this. But Streamberry, in their terms of service, says, we can take aspects of your life and create shows from it. And essentially what they explain in the episode, and I don't think I'm giving too much away by saying this, is that they have an AI algorithm and an AI program that will create that episode from that day and upload it to everyone on Streamberry of this woman. And later on you find out that they're going to do that for everybody who subscribes to Streamberry.
And it's all actors and actresses have agreed to give their likenesses for the AI to generate to then play these like real people in these shows about their lives.
So the woman Joan in her, so it's the episode of Joan is Awful on Netflix. Her portrayal in Streamberry's episode of Joan is Awful was, what's her name?
Selma Hayek.
Selma Hayek. And then they actually do that in that episode of Joan is Awful on Streamberry, where it's...
Wasn't it Kate Blanchett?
Kate Blanchett is playing Joan, the
dream inside the dream.
Yeah, it's wild. And then, like, the twisty thing at the end of what they do, like, I was just like, I didn't expect that at all. I didn't see that coming. But I loved it. I was like, this is so weird. This is so cool. This is such a good episode.
Like, this is a little bit of a spoiler for that episode, but it's just, like, one funny scene. The church scene. And what she does in the church that then the AI likeness of Selma Hayek has to do in the church is hilarious. Yet, Drew, like, while you generally are not a scripted TV person, I feel like some episodes of Black Mirror you'd probably really like, but not all of them.
So, to lean on that, Lock Henry, I think, Drew, you would be into. It is very, it's a little bit of a commentary on true crime and true crime series and stuff like that. And it's about, like, a crime at a remote village and whatnot. But then, like, the devastation of the end of it is just, it's really good.
Wait, what was that one?
That was the one where the guy and his girlfriend went to his hometown to visit his mom while they were getting ready to make another film.
Right.
And then they told the story of the murder.
Okay, right.
That one started kind of slow to me. Didn't catch me until maybe like 10 minutes in, because that's when they finally tell the story of the murder, and then it gets into the story of the episode. But like this season, that episode was probably so far the second most tech-based episode of the 4 that I've watched.
Oh, you haven't finished
Most
it yet.
of these, I haven't watched the last one, so I don't really know what the last one is, but that one takes place in like 1970 something.
60, I thought.
Something like that. So like, I don't really know how technology is going to play into that. So like, it's kind of weird.
That one is really good, and it's got it's got Josh Hartnett and Aaron Paul, right? Is that his name? The guy from Breaking Bad?
Mm-hmm. That's the astronaut one, and that's the third one. I seen the astronaut one.
See, that was the last one that we watched.
No, that was the third one on my list.
Dude, Netflix is a fucking disaster with this show.
I mean, I don't think so.
No, I just mean like the way that like it's apparently not the same order for everybody. So you saw Joan is Awful, Lock Henry. Beyond the Sea is the astronaut one. Did you see Maisie Day, the one with the
Maisie Day is the one I tweeted about the other day.
Okay, so you haven't seen you haven't seen the one about the girl in the shop.
Right. Okay. Which that one takes place in 1979. Yeah.
That episode.
So Beyond the Sea takes place in 69.
That episode, really good. Super weird. Very different than this show normally is. But like really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed this. I did enjoy this season. I will say I think Lock Henry is the one I remember the least of. I think because it started so slow, I kind of like lost interest early on.
Yeah, that was me too. Like I sat there, I just scrolled through my phone for the first like 10, 15 minutes of it. I was a little bored because like nothing really was happening. It wasn't really like interesting until they tell the story of the murder, and then it's like, okay, here's where like they had to build up to it. I know, but it got good at the end. It definitely got very good at the end, but it was just for me it was my least interesting one. Beyond the Sea, that was just bravo for Beyond the Sea. I really liked it.
That one, like everything about that one was just super weird and really good.
Yeah, I was like the one thing about Beyond the Sea, I was expecting the ending, but not the way it happened. Like I knew the outcome of what was going to happen with the end was probably going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen the way that it did with him being locked out. And then like the one I want to talk about most is Maisie Day.
Okay.
Just because like that is as far as I can remember, the furthest from the norm in all of Black Mirror. I don't ever remember Black Mirror being sci-fi. Well, not sci-fi.
Supernatural.
I guess maybe,
Supernatural.
Supernatural, yeah. I'm going through all of the series. The National Anthem, 15 Million Merits.
Like, they have had pseudo-supernatural stuff before, but it was, by the end of it, it's always technology. Like, the episode with, where they were, like, quote-unquote bringing people back to life. With like those doll things, it was technology. Like the person's consciousness wasn't really in the doll, or the one with with John
Playtest was one. Which was that Playtest? I don't remember.
That was
where
the
it
Christmas
was.
one.
The Christmas one. I vaguely remember the Christmas one. But Playtest was like they were in a haunted house, but it ended up being that like he was testing a video game or something like that.
Right. Yeah. So like they've leaned on the supernatural, but they've never actually gotten to it.
Yeah, and then this time, like, they full on, like, the very end is just, oh yeah, werewolves exist. Which is just like, what? Huh? And, like, I guess I should have said spoiler alert if you haven't watched that one, but, like, that was such a change in what I'm used to seeing Black Mirror show, and I liked it. Because I liked the commentary that they were putting on there about paparazzi and that shit. But it was unexpected. But it was just a very good episode.
Yeah, I did really enjoy that one. I'm curious what you're going to think of the last one. Because, like, I thought it was really fun. Super different. But, yeah. Also, I totally forgot about the National Anthem episode. It's like one of the first episodes.
Is that the one where, like, he has to bang the pig at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Drew, the first, I think, 3 or 4 seasons, maybe just the first 2, were, like, UK, like, BBC
It's first
shows.
First 3, I believe.
And then Netflix, got, like, the co-production rights, and after they got involved, it started having more, like, known actors and actresses in it. To the point now where, like, Selma Hayek was in the most recent season.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, first 2 was the White Christmas was a Christmas special. And, like, each of these, like, they had connecting technology. They were just, it was really good. And even, I think it was season 4? Yeah, season 4 had Black Museum that had, what's her name? Sherry in it. And that, like, actually had... They literally go to a museum of, basically a museum of Black Mirror. And they have, like, props, but I think it wasn't supposed to be props, it was, like, oddities in this world of, like, things that happened on Black Mirror.
Yeah, I forgot about
that. I'd vaguely, like, I honestly want to rewatch this series, because there's some that I don't really remember a lot of, might have fallen asleep on them and whatnot, but I do very much remember watching a lot of these. Archangel was really good. Crocodile was really good. Hang the DJ. Like, season 4 was the season I got into this, and season 4 was so good.
Yeah, even
season
USS
3,
Callister was really good too.
I don't really remember USS Callister.
That was the one with I mean, it's Jesse Plemons, who, like, is a guy that you would probably recognize if you saw him. He, like, they keep showing him as like the commander of, like, a starship, but in reality, I think he's like a game tester or a CEO of a game company, and he's obsessed with a girl who is like one of the programmers or something like that.
Oh, San Junipero, fucking awesome episode.
Is that
it made me cry.
Is that the euthanasia one?
San Junipero is like they 2 older people go into an AI, but they're like
the euthanasia
young
one.
people. I guess I can't 100% remember. I just remember crying at the end of it.
That was actually a really good one too.
Yeah. There's then some weird ones. Shut Up and Dance was a weird one, I believe.
There's that one with the Miley Cyrus doll.
That one was cool. I liked that one.
I mean, it was good. It was just 5. Weird.
There's and then there's also Striking Vipers has fucking Anthony Mackie in it. Was that Striking? Yeah. So, Drew, let me tell you about Striking Vipers.
Okay.
In this world, VR is like you connect it to your temple, you press it, and it like knocks you out, and you're in the game. It's like a new game system. Anthony Mackie.
Right.
Anthony Mackie is a lead character. I can't remember who like his friend was, but like you can play online with your friends and you can play VR. And so like they got a fighting game. They got like Street Fighter or whatever, and they're fighting each other. And at some point, Anthony Mackie's playing the male character. His friend's playing the female character. At some point, they start fucking
in the game,
and then their relationship just gets weird outside of the game. Because, like, the dude who's playing the chick is like, I want to do it again. I want to keep doing it. And Anthony Mackie enjoys it. But then, like, because they're both married and have kids, and they're like, I don't really know about this anymore. It's so weird, but it's so good. I liked that. It was funny. That one was, like, very funny.
Yeah, like, that one was weird.
That and Smithereens was a good one, too. Because that had Topher Grace in it. That was the Facebook thing. Like, people were getting laid off on Facebook. And a rideshare guy, like, kidnaps who he thinks is the CEO of, quote, Facebook, and ends up being Topher Grace as the CEO, and he's on, like, a retreat or some shit.
I remember that.
Yeah. I can gush about this show so much. I love it. I can't remember when season 5 came out. It had to have been at least 2 or 3 years. 2019, yeah. So it was...
Pre-COVID.
Before the pandemic. Pre-COVID, because... I believe the same people who do this also do Love, Death, and Robot. And that's, like, I think they were doing a lot of Love, Death, and Robots. Plus, they had Bandersnatch, which was the, if you have not seen that, Cobb, you might enjoy it. That is the
interactive one, like the Choose Your Own Adventure.
The interactive Choose Your Own Adventure, yeah. Which, like, I watched that, with friends when that came out. So that might have also been 2019. Was it 2018?
I'm looking at the Wikipedia page.
And like, we ended our watch in less than 20 minutes. But then we watched it again and we tried different ways to go. Cause like, it lets you say like, do you want to go back to the beginning or replay some of the decisions and stuff like that?
Okay. Yeah. And I remember season 5 was only 3 episodes, but it's because every episode was like an hour and a half, I think. Like, they were all longer, like, almost movie-length episodes. Yeah,
they were almost 90 minutes.
But yeah, you should watch that last episode, because it's weird. In a good way.
I was going to try today during work, but I was having a zero focus day. I decided to try to wean myself off of some antacids, and that was affecting me. Plus, I went to bed late last night, because I was trying to watch... a streamer get his master's ranking in Apex, and I didn't even make it for that. So I was just super tired and out of it. So I wanted to watch it after lunch, but I still had work to do because I didn't do any work before lunch.
These things happen.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about Black Mirror, though?
I love the show. I really do. I'm happy it's back.
It's a good show. I enjoy it. So I watched several movies. First one was, it was something that I actually wanted to watch during our Nick Cage movies, but it's not streaming for free anywhere, and I didn't want to make you guys pay for something that maybe wasn't good. So I watched, Mandy, the 2018 horror-ish film. Have you guys ever, like, heard or seen anything about this movie?
Nope.
No. I assume it's, Nick Cage.
Yep. So it's set in, like, the early 80s. Nick Cage is a lumberjack, it seems. Lives in the woods with his wife, girlfriend, woman, person. And there's also a, like, religious cult in the vicinity. And the cult leader becomes obsessed with Nick Cage's girlfriend and hires what initially appeared to be the demons from Hellraiser. Like, they're all, like they just have, like, shit sticking out of them. Like, they look like monsters. It turns out they're just fucking masochists who had bad acid at some point, or bad LSD, and just don't feel pain anymore to kidnap her. And it just goes fucking crazy from there. Like, it is the weirdest fucking movie. It's got such a cool atmosphere. The whole movie was almost like, it looks like it was filmed in a way where, like, it kind of has, like, almost like a film grain to it, so that it looks like an old movie. And there's often a lot of, like, red lighting happening, so that the whole movie has almost like a red overlay to it. Especially during, like, certain scenes where it adds a lot to the atmosphere. And then, the music is done really well in it, where there are certain scenes where there's just no music and there's no dialogue. It's just like people kind of sitting quietly doing stuff. And like inevitably there'll be like one person doing something very mundane, like making like a noise. Like there's one specific scene where the like religious cult people are sitting in their fucking murder van thing, and the one guy just has his head against the window and he's just like holding the down button and then holding the up button to make it go up and down. So you just hear that like old school mechanical whine that like Windows used to make. And that's it. There's no music. Breathing is the only other thing you hear in that scene, and some crickets. But then it turns into like Nick Cage going John Wick on everybody. But like not being as good as John Wick, so also kind of getting fucked up on his own. But at one point he forges his own battle axe, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, like I don't know I don't know why he had access to like a forge and everything, but like at one point they just show him like melting a bunch of like steel or whatever down, pouring it into a mold, and it's like this like it looks like something out of like Battlestar or something like that, like just this like two-handed like sci-fi battle axe looking thing that's just solid metal. And he pours it into a mold, then he hammers it out to get like an edge on it, and then that's his weapon. And yeah, it was quite the fucking movie. I think it's like a $3 rental on Amazon, so it's not super expensive. Would definitely recommend people checking it out if they haven't seen it. It kind of reminded me of different content, obviously, but it reminded me a little bit of the Willy's Wonderland movie that he did like a year or two ago, where very little dialogue in it. Like he only talks like a couple of times, and it's mostly in the beginning of the movie when he's like with his girlfriend or whoever she is, and they're just having like this is a very Nick Cage scene. They're just laying there, and he just goes, "What's your favorite planet?" Just, out of nowhere. And then they have a discussion about planets. So when she asks him what his favorite planet is, he says something, and he goes, No, I changed my mind. It's Galactus. Like, from Marvel, the dude that eats planets. His argument being, well, he might not be a planet, but he eats planets, so it's close enough. And if that's not a Nick Cage-ass thing to say, then I don't know what is. But yeah, it was a weird movie, but it was a good movie. Definitely recommend watching it. I think it was like 2 hours, so it's not like those 3-hour fucking Avatar movies that are coming out, or 4-hour Avatar movies. That fucking thing. And then after that, we watched the recent Candyman from 2021. It's like, so Candyman's got a weird history, like a lot of those horror movies, where you have the initial one, and then there's a bunch of sequels, 3 or 4 of them, that are just like, they were direct-to-DVD sort of things. This movie cuts all of those out and is just like a direct sequel to the original. So it's kind of hard to tell like what exactly is going on early on. And they sort of, the way they kind of format it is, well, have either of you guys ever seen the original Candyman?
No.
Drew, I'm assuming you haven't, right?
No.
Yeah. So in the original one, Candyman he was not a former slave, but like his father was a former slave. And he was like a painter in like the late 1800s. And after painting like a white woman's portrait, they ended up like falling in love, and she became pregnant with his child. And then he was then hunted and murdered by the townspeople in very vicious ways, as they would have done back then. Like he had like his arm cut off that he would use to paint, and had a meat hook shoved in it. And then he was covered in like honeycomb or something, so that he'd be attacked by bees. Which is why if you ever see the Candyman movies, there's a lot of bees going on in it. So at the end of the original, the female that you're following ends up dying to kind of stop him. But because of that, in this one, she has now become like part of the story. So there's still like the Candyman legend, but now there's also like the story that gets passed around about this woman who murdered a dog and abducted a baby, and then tried to throw the baby into a bonfire, but ended up just throwing herself onto the bonfire instead. And like, she's never used as like a supernatural element, but she's just like this weird, like local myth that kind of goes around. And then on top of that, they tell you multiple different, legends about Candyman, which, like any of those urban legends, like, you know how everyone has, like, a different story about, like, the Jersey Devil and, like, what the Jersey Devil is and whatnot? That's kind of what they were doing with Candyman, where one person tells you a story early on where it's like, oh yeah, like, Candyman was, like, this dude from the 70s who used to, he had, like a hook for a hand, but not like a meat hook, just like a normal, like, 1970s, like, hook hand sort of deal that he could, like, use to, like, pick things up. But he used to carry candy in his pockets, and he would give it to the neighborhood kids. And then at Halloween that year, somebody got a razor blade in their candy, and he became, like, wanted. And he was viciously murdered by the police when he was found, like, living in the walls of an apartment building. And that is now the guy that is Candyman. But then other people are telling the original story. So you kind of have all these, like, conflicting accounts going on. And it ends up, like, it was a very different take from the original. In a really cool way, because it tied a lot of things back to the original. Even there were even characters in this one, characters and actors that were in the original that, like, reprised roles from the movie in 1992 in this one.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know that, like, I'd say, like, hey, everyone should watch this one, but if you like the original Candyman, it's definitely worth checking this one out. It did some very cool stuff with the way some of the killing happened. Like, in case you guys or anyone else doesn't know, like, Candyman has that same, like, myth to, like, as, like, Bloody Mary, like, say his name into a mirror 5 times and he'll appear and kill you. So when that sort of stuff happens, because, like, the myth is becoming more prevalent again, you never see him in, like, the flesh with, like, the person he's killing. You just see, like, the body, like, maybe, like, the neck suddenly gets slit open, or you'll see, like, somebody being drug across the floor by their foot, but no one's pulling them. But anytime they pass, like, a reflective surface, even if it's just, you know, like a glass door in the background, if you're paying attention to that background, you'll see Candyman is the one, like, actually pulling the body. And they even do it, a bunch of high schoolers do it in, like, the school bathroom and all get murdered. And somebody drops, like, a, like, little makeup circle, I forget what those things are called.
Compact.
Thank you. I was actually going to say the little compact things, not knowing they were called a compact. Drops one of them and it springs open, and you just see, like, the boots kind of walk across the floor, towards one of the people that's, like, huddled on the corner. So it was like a cool, use of like, modern, like, special effects, really, because that stuff would have looked very fake in 92. But in this one, like, it actually lined up and worked really nicely. So, yeah, that was a fun one. And then the last thing we watched, we finally watched the third Ant-Man movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania?
Yeah.
And you saw that, right, Rich?
Yeah, I saw that in theaters. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
I thought it was fine. Like, I didn't dislike it, but I didn't, like, 5 days later, I don't know that I could really tell you much that happened in it.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's what Marvel is turning into now, because it's been around for so long, because these movies have been coming out for so long. A lot of them are just popcorn movies. They're just popcorn action films. And, like, I feel like at this point they're just trying to hit that Fast and the Furious stride of, let's just try to find a way to get all the money. I loved the movie. I had a lot of fun watching it. I thought the animation, or, like, the CG and shit, was fantastic. People were complaining about it. I thought it was amazing.
I think there was too much of it. I don't think it was done poorly. It was just the whole movie was CG.
Oh, what the fuck else are you gonna do about that, though?
I mean, there's nothing you can do. Like, it was just like...
They're in the quantum realm. Like, what else are you gonna do about that?
You know what? They could have found a way.
I mean, yeah, they could have had made sets that then would have had CG over top of them, because it's the quantum realm and things work differently there. Like, I'm sure they did have sets that they just CG'd stuff over. But I'm sure most of the movie was just a green room.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I thought, yes, there was a lot. I thought it was really good. I thought it was very good.
I think, like, most of the aliens and, like, the environments looked, like, good. I will say, like, every time Ant-Man was big, I thought that CG actually looked bad. Like something about it just made it stand out more than everything else.
There's something about making humans bigger or making them elongate that just doesn't work in CG.
And it's funny because, like, realistically, like, every scene that he did Giant Man for, there is no reason that they had to CG it. They could have just done, like, a perspective change or something like that. And
the problem is most of their suits aren't even full suits anymore.
Exactly. Like, they're basically wearing, like, the suits with, like, the dots on it so that they can map everything onto them.
Yeah, they'll wear, like, the outer armor type shit, but they're not really wearing the mask as much. They're not wearing that skin suit. Like, the only one who really wears the cat suit was fucking, Black Widow and Ryan Reynolds. They're the only two that wear the cat suits.
Hey, man.
Everyone else.
Hugh Jackman's wearing the yellow tights.
Is he, though? Like, or is that a CG yellow tights?
I don't know. Like, Ryan Reynolds is next to him, so I'm assuming that he's actually in it.
I mean, that is, as far as we know, that is an unedited shot. So maybe they are both wearing those.
But yeah, like, it was not a bad movie. Like, it's not like, it was not like the DC fucking movies. But, like, it was just one of those, like, I did not find myself super into it the whole time watching it. Like, there were moments that I thought were funny. That some of, like, the action sequences were cool, but, like, the overall story I felt was kind of boring. And
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Ask what your question was.
Did the news about the potential of Jonathan Majors not being Kang anymore, do you think that might have affected any of your feelings toward this movie? Because he's a fantastic Kang, but his portrayal doesn't fucking matter anymore.
No,
because we need a new Kang.
No, that actually didn't have any impact at all. Like, I thought he was more more interesting in Loki than he was in this movie. Mm-hmm. I think, like, he was good in this. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying he was bad, but, like, I just found Kang kind of boring and one note in this movie. Whereas in Loki, like, that was a very interesting thing to see.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, you saw it in the after credits or the credits scenes. Like, they're like, this Kang was Kang the Conqueror, but the Kang that we saw in Loki was a different Kang, and the Kang we're going to see in Loki 2 is an even different Kang.
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure, like, the Kang from Loki was, I always get the Kang variations confused, but I think he was supposed to be, like, Immortus, which is, like, the Kang from much further down the timeline that, like, isn't really evil anymore. Just like the Kang from the one credit scene that looks like an Egyptian pharaoh is a very early Kang. Not quite Iron Lad, like, Young Avenger early, but, like, still, like, there was a period where he was stuck in ancient Egypt before, like,
yeah, like,
because Kang is from the future but gets trapped in the past for a handful of years.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, a different variation of Kang shows up to get him out of the past. Like, it's a very, like, fucked up timeline thing. It's like, but how do you get out of the past if a variation of yourself doesn't come back to get you? Time travel,
man.
But yeah, like,
which is why they're not doing time travel, they're doing multiverse this time.
Exactly.
Which works.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That does work a little bit better than the time travel stuff does. Though they are also doing, like, timeline stuff to an extent because of the, like, what they were doing with Loki with the Time Bureau. So it's kind of like a mashing of the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it was totally fine. It was better than the Eternals. I thought it was better than Black Panther, too. But it was not better than either of the previous Ant-Mans, in my opinion. And, like, I'd probably actually rank it lower on, like, the scale of all of the Marvel movies. I think there are more movies that I enjoy out of the Marvel stuff than
that's a majority of this phase is absolutely. I would 100% agree that most of the movies this phase do not rank above 50% of the MCU, but when you're talking about MCU movies, above 50% of MCU is still better than a lot of bad movies and a lot of good movies out there.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm trying to think, like, of other stuff from this particular one. Like,
MODOK, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
his tiny hiney.
Like, MODOK was a fun little thing, and who they had playing MODOK. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but the broccoli-headed people, I feel like, were a reference to the Dark Phoenix saga.
I had to have been.
Because, like, in the original Dark Phoenix, like in the comics, Jean Grey explodes a planet of people that look like broccoli.
Yeah.
So,
I think I even remember texting you about the broccoli people after I saw it, because it made me think of that. So there had to have been a reference in the movie about, but beyond just broccoli head, like, they had to have had said something and made a reference to, like, to Phoenix or something like that.
No, because
I don't know, or
you only had, like, when they first get into, like, that city, it's, Hank sees, like, he literally goes, like, holy shit, they look like broccoli. And then one of the people come up and I think hit on Hope when they're in the bar.
Yeah.
And, like, those are the two instances. But, like, you know, great cameos. Like, there was Bill Murray. There was the dude that played Chidi in The Good Place.
Yeah.
There was that blob who was really excited to get a hole.
Yeah, he wanted a hole.
I'm sure that was probably voiced by somebody, too.
Eat my goop so you can understand me.
Yeah, like...
that blob was great. Like, it was just... They leaned a lot on humor in this one, which I feel like really saved Ant-Man, or saved the movie. Like, if they didn't lean on humor as much as they did... Because, I mean, it's Paul Rudd. He is a comedic actor. And so, he knows how to do comedy. He knows comedic timing and everything like that. Like, he can do this stuff. That, like, they leaned on the strengths of their actors in the best way possible in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong with that.
And then I think he even did it. I can do this all day reference, which I was just like, oh, he did it. I think he did it. I think they did that.
I'm pretty sure he did at the end when him and Kang were fighting.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I feel like nobody got, like, a real, like, good, like, chance to shine the way, like, some of these movies do it. Like there were half steps. Like, Hope at the end when she comes in and, like, kind of, like, saves the day. There was, like, a half step with Cassie almost doing something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they did stuff, but it wasn't that moment.
Yeah, I think they were trying to focus on the idea of, like, this is going to be, like, a team effort from now on. Like, the Ant-Man movies are a team effort. Like, they're trying to pull a CW verse, an Arrowverse, where it's like, it's not just one hero. It's a team. Like, it's always going to be a team effort from here on out. Like, yes, Hope is probably going to be in Young Avengers when they do that.
You mean Cassie?
Or Cassie, yeah. Cassie's going to be in Young Avengers when they do that. I think they're doing that.
Nothing's announced, but, like, they now have... So they have Cassie, they have Kate. Technically, like, I forget his name, but there's like a young army kid in Falcon and Winter Soldier that he becomes, like, the second Falcon that is kind of on Young Avengers.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's, like, one or two other, like, younger
there's
Spider-Man.
Spider. I don't think he'll be in Young Avengers. I don't know if we're getting a Spider-Man anytime soon.
No, probably not. But I'm just saying.
I think they have tried to tease, like, a Spider-Man 4, but I think Tom Holland's going through some issues right now. So, like, I think he's taking a break.
I think he's just burnt out and wants to, like, relax for a little while.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's definitely Ant-Man 3, not a bad movie, but also it's another Marvel movie. It's another Marvel movie that we get too many of every year at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I 100% agree that we get too many of them. We get 2 or 3 of them a year, which I don't think that's too many of them.
But it's like, it's 2 or 3 movies that there's nothing particularly special about anymore.
But that's any action movie.
Like, I disagree. Like, when an action movie is done well and there's, like, time between them, like, there's kind of something to it now. Now, like, it's almost just like, oh, the new MCU movie's out. Let's see what they foreshadow in this one.
But they're not really as connected as the first phase anymore.
I mean, they're not, but they're still constantly foreshadowing stuff for, like, sequels. Like, this movie was very much a setup for the rest of the phase.
I think that's the problem. Not even the rest of this phase. This was a setup for next phase.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah,
it
would be more next phase than this phase.
Because I think this phase ends with Fantastic Four.
That I don't know. I don't remember where, like, the 2 Avengers movies were supposed to fall into.
But also, right now, we don't even know where everything's landing because of the writer's strike. All the movies have been delayed, with the exception of what's it called? Captain Marvel, the Marvels. Every movie has been delayed.
That's true. I kind of forgot about that.
So, like, even Blade we don't know where Blade's going to be in 2 years. Which I think we were supposed to end this phase with either Fantastic Four or Blade by the end of this year, or maybe next year. And we don't even know if those are coming out because, I mean, Writer's Strike's been going on for almost 2 months now, I think. Maybe 3.
I think it started in April, right?
It's been a while. I know that much.
Yeah, and there's no sign of it stopping.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, I would not be upset if they kept making Ant-Man movies, because, like, I think Paul Rudd is just fun to watch. But, like, also, if we only get more Ant-Man in, like, other movies, like, that's also fine.
Yeah.
Because, like...
That's the problem now. Like, well, not the problem, but that's the thing now, is Marvel is... Because all of their big hitters, all like their known heroes, Spider-Man, Iron Man, I almost said Aquaman, Captain America, like those 3 really were in Phase 1. They have a lot of heroes to lean on, but not a lot that the general public knows about. And so, like, they're having to, in this established universe, still write origin stories for these characters that have been around for years. And, like, I would love to get more origin stories, but at the same time, I want to see, like, all the connection as well. And I just don't know if, like, I don't know how much the longevity of the MCU is going to last. Because it's, like, they have this connected universe, which I love, but I don't want to learn about new heroes anymore. I don't want to see new heroes. And they're doing decent right now with introducing the young Avengers in pre-established character stories. But what's going to happen... Miss Marvel. So, but what's going to happen after the Marvels? Like, we're going to have a Fantastic Four movie, or supposed to. Is that going to be an origin story? Something that we've seen at least twice in the box office, which everyone complained about with Spider-Man. We're now going to get that again with the Fantastic Four.
Dude, you said twice, and I'm, like, racking my brain. I'm like, no, we only had that, like, there were 2 Fantastic Four movies, but it was only one origin. I'm like, oh, right, that Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah. There was a Fantastic Four movie less than 10 years ago. Like, you think about that.
There was also the 90s one.
Was there like a...
It was like a low-budget movie, like, I believe.
Yeah, it was the 2000s, then 2016, and then... Was that one? Was that 2016?
That was 2015.
Fantastic. 2015. Yeah, so... And we're supposed to be getting that soon. It should have been 2024, I think.
So there was a 1994 Fantastic Four movie, but it was never released.
Yeah.
But although pirated copies have circulated.
And then we're going to be getting an X-Men origin, which we've gotten like 10 fucking X-Men origin films. Literally, we got 2 X-Men origin films in the same fucking series of X-Men films. We got 2 origin films. We got X-Men, and then we got X-Men First Class.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah.
And again, First Class was what, less than 10 years ago? Or just over 10 years ago?
2011, so just over.
2011, so just over 10 years ago. And we'll see how Deadpool, which is going to be a multiversal movie, is going to potentially bring in the X-Men into the MCU. But yeah, it's just, that's we have all these established characters that are leaving because of contracts, or old, or just done with acting. And like a lot of these new characters that they're trying to introduce, like they fucking introduced Scarro in fucking She-Hulk. And like, what are you gonna do with him? Are you gonna put him in Young Avengers as well, or like, is that just a one-off thing? Like, are we ever gonna hear from him again? Probably not.
Yeah,
I think that's the same. Scarro, his son. Scar. Okay.
Scar from Sakaar.
Yeah.
So last thing about Ant-Man 3, I want to see if I'm remembering a sequence of events correctly, just from Ant-Man in general. So Ant-Man 2 ends where they are doing testing with like the quantum realm, right? Like,
yes.
Isn't that where Scott was trapped during the 5 years of the blip?
He wasn't trapped in the quantum realm, but he was trapped in like a near quantum state.
Like he was between the 2 realms because they were trying to like harvest whatever the thing was, or do like experiments or whatnot.
I think they were trying to like harvest energy or something like that. Yeah, like he wasn't in the quantum realm, but he was in between it, and time works differently, which is why it was only a matter of seconds that he was actually down there. Yeah,
but it was 5 years here. So
yeah.
So you have that, which, like, even if he wasn't going all the way to the quantum realm, like, close enough. Especially because we didn't know at that point, like, they were referring to that as the quantum realm, or at least part of it. But then in this movie, as soon as Janet finds out that they're even thinking about the quantum realm, she has a fucking, like, freak out about it.
So I'd have to rewatch the end sequence of that, of Ant-Man and the Wasp.
But she's there, like, because she is literally giving them pointers on, like, what to do while there.
She's there, but, like, so I think because the way I remember it was, like, yeah, she was there giving them pointers, but, like, all they were doing was were testing going down there and coming back, and that was it. And maybe at that point she had already had terms. I mean, obviously they didn't think this far ahead because that movie was 10 years ago. Something like that. And it wasn't 10 years ago, but it was long enough ago to where they weren't thinking about this phase at that point, or this movie at that point. But it was maybe the way you can justify it is she was giving them pointers on just going and coming back, and that's it. Maybe they were doing a small test. And then once they reached a certain point, or once the blip happened, she was like, yeah, this ain't good. We shouldn't do this anymore. Let's not do it. And then they did it behind her back, and that was her issues. They did it behind her back, and they were sending out messages down there.
And, like, yes, like I do get that, like, the message part is different. But I just think it's funny that, like, she was losing her mind about it in this movie and, like, very cagey, but was, like, all for, like, Scott shrinking down to that size to, like, do some experiments. It's just, it's funny that, like, for how much effort they seem to put into continuity, like, that just seems like a very sort of, this doesn't quite track if you actually watched Ant-Man and the Wasp before it.
Look, plot armor.
Yeah.
That's really all.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But I think that will probably do it, unless either you guys have anything else you want to talk about.
Nope.
I mean, not really. I have something really minor that I've seen on the news that are on my circles. Critical Role took down days of content that was on their channel, on their YouTube channel today, or within the past few days.
For a reason?
Like, hundreds of episodes of content. Yeah, because it all starred Brian W. Foster. Who was Ashley Johnson's ex-fiance.
Oh.
Who she now has a restraining order on him.
So not their actual campaign stuff, but like between the sheets or whatnot?
There's a few episodes of their live shows that he comes out and hosts and, like, calls them out on stage that, as far as from what I've read, are not on their YouTube anymore.
Well, I
thought what I saw said those were the only ones that were still up.
Okay, maybe they were. Like, I didn't read the full thing, but, like, one of the articles I said, like, including episodes of Vox Machina, or not Vox Machina, of Mighty Nine. So, like, I thought maybe, but yeah, all of his side stuff. He did a bunch of side stuff.
Because he did, like, all those, like, interview things and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. So he had a show called Between the Sheets, which was him interviewing. Not just the cast of Critical Role, but other voice actors. He even at one point interviewed, who's the rapper's name? There was a rapper that he interviewed. I don't think either of you know his name. So, no, he was a smaller actor. But, like, he interviewed, not just the cast of Critical Role, but he interviewed a bunch of people. And it was a good show. It was a very good show. I enjoyed it. Like, he was a good host, and, like, same with the Talks Machina. He even DM'd a series that they did, and they, because of everything that, like, him and Ashley split, she had to split with him. He was being very abusive, reportedly. I don't want to tarnish anybody's name, but reportedly being very abusive. She had to set up a restraining order on him because he became worse after they split. So yeah, they took down days of content from their YouTube channel, like hundreds of episodes, minimum 2 hour long. So that's just wild. That's, like, wild to me. Like, that they took down, like, I like, it's not wild that they took it down, but the amount of content really that they took down is wild to me.
That is actually kind of crazy.
Yeah. Especially since, like, I think they still have the Hardwick episode of Critical Role up. But that was also a very important episode that they couldn't really take down.
But he's also back to hosting all that stuff, so.
Oh yeah, it turned out that, like, his ex, like, wasn't being all truthful, and whatnot. But, like, a lot of his friends stopped doing his shit with him being Hardwick. Like, a lot of people, like, stopped doing stuff with him, so.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that sucks that they had to pull so much content down. But, like,
yeah, I
mean, good for them for kind of, like, being behind, like, one of their, like,
backing
people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good on them for backing up Ashley. Sucks that she had to go through what she went through. But I'm glad they're backing her up. And yeah, it's like I said, it's more to me. It's like the hundreds of episodes, which is like days of content, just gone from the internet. A lot of stuff has like transcripts that you can go read if you want to, but that's it.
There's also the Internet Archive. It's probably there.
Probably.
But like, yeah. All right. Well, that is probably going to do it then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you would like to find more of our content, then you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with your dollars, though, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, some other places too. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. All of it helps. You can find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo, and you can always send us an email to social@one-quest.com. And Rich, what's your streaming schedule?
Final Fantasy 16 and Sea of Thieves.
You sound so excited.
I am. Like, don't get me wrong, I am. But it's also the idea, like, I am playing one game constantly, like I've said before. It's hard for me sometimes. That's why luckily I have Sea of Thieves. If I wasn't doing the weekly Sea of Thieves, I'd probably be doing a weekly some other game, just to like give me a break from Final Fantasy. But yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday on YouTube, and I'm looking into simul streaming to Twitch again. But youtube.com/@bwalnuts. You can also check out my Let's Plays and stuff. The Long Dark came out on yesterday at the time of this release. 7 Days to Die comes out tomorrow at the time of this release. And there is no Fallout 4 episode this week because I died. And so I'm still figuring out what I'm going to do to move forward with that.
Fun times.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all that said, we will be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
See yous.